Heartwarming Holiday Story 2022 for amusement purposes. Written and read by Heather Holland Wheaton. Imagine two figures huddled over a scarred wooden work table in an old factory turned artist studios. Each figure drinking gingerbread lattes and staring at an empty page in a sketchbook. One of the figures is known as the King of Christmas Sweaters in the sweater industry. The other, his muse of 2 decades, is a 10-foot-tall drag queen in a gown that looks like freshly fallen snow. You may notice the King of Christmas Sweaters is tapping his pencil on the empty page, and that the drag queen is chain-smoking Virginia Slims. Watch as she crushes her cigarette out in an ashtray shaped like a sleigh and light a new one with a candy cane Bic. The entire studio is decorated for Christmas. It's a holiday wonderland. There's a tinsel tree surrounded by gaily wrapped gifts, wreaths of gold on the walls. Spray snow frosts the windows, open to let in a warm spring breeze. Every year on March 1st, the King of Christmas Sweaters and the drag queen meet in this festive studio to design Christmas sweaters for the upcoming season. Usually, the King's pencil moves frantically across the pages of the sketchbook to keep up with the Queen's hypersonic stream of ideas. But today is May 7th, and they've come up with nothing. Zilch. Zero. Nada. I need something other than gingerbread lattes, says the Queen and exhales. The smoke, because of her height, hovers near the overhead lights. The first time she'd visited the King had been on a whim. She'd been wandering Manhattan looking for somebody, anybody to inspire and give her a quick burst of dopamine. He was just Jim Fairchild back then and had been tasked with designing a Christmas sweater for J.C. Penney's, something he'd never done before. The drag queen poofed herself into the workroom on 38th Street and suggested a snowman sweater with a knitted 3-dimensional carrot nose. He sketched her idea eagerly, his cheeks aglow, and it became the must-have sweater that year. Even Oprah had one. How about a little hooch, says the Queen. Maybe some edibles? The King of Christmas Sweaters gets up from the table. His hair is gray now, and in his uniform of black jeans and turtleneck and glasses that he needs to see practically anything, you may think he looks like Andy Warhol. He rummages through the shelves of his kitchen and goes back to the table with a bottle of peppermint bark rum chata, a package of gummies, and a single red plastic Solo cup. As a kid growing up in Fells Point, Maryland, and the son of a physicist, the King had never believed in muses, thought they were just part of Greek mythology, like minotaurs and sirens. But after meeting the Queen, he became devoted to them, at least to her. The Queen opens the rum chata with an aluminum crack and glugs it into a Solo cup. She'd met Warhol's muse, another drag queen that sadly had a face like Eleanor Roosevelt. Not all muses are drag queens. Most of them are simply cis women. That dates back to the Greek days when the whole muse biz began with the original 9, who were actual goddesses. But shortly after the Peloponnesian War, quite a few, the best ones, in the Queen's opinion, the ones that inspired the greatest creations in the arts, were overly made-up men in women's clothes. In the center of the work table is a Rae Dunn 3-wick soy candle with Ho 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 printed on its side in that distinctive font. Rae Dunn's muse was not a drag queen, and she only inspired Rae Dunn to do that one thing, the labeling. Then she retired. The candle gives off a cinnamon and pine scent that reminds the King of the deodorizer cakes in men's room urinals. You're not having any hooch? The Queen says to the King. Not until we get something on paper. He doesn't look up at the Queen, mostly because it hurts his neck, but also his eyes are drawn to the blank page in the sketchbook. To the right of the sketchbook is a 3-ring binder bulging with past designs and protective vinyl sleeves. He picks up his pencil and resumes tapping. His pencils are custom made at Brown & Co. They're simple number twos, like the ones he'd used to take his SATs back at Paul Laurence Dunbar High, although those were cratered by his teenage bite marks. Look closely at the one in his hand, and you'll see it says, "The King of Christmas Sweaters" in gold copperplate. "Santa's little helper," says the Queen, as she pops a handful of gummies into her mouth. She chews and smokes, smokes and chews, her bullseye red lips smacking together loudly enough to be heard over Jingle Bell Rock. Being the muse to the King of Christmas Sweaters had been a status symbol in the aughts. Now the Queen is lost in the ocean of social media muses, constantly outdoing one another with follies that the Queen finds fleeting and vapid. Okay, she swallows and crushes out her cigarette. How about we do real tinsel garland on a solid green background? Simple yet glam. We've done that already, says the King without even opening the binder. 2007. The Queen picks up her package of Virginia Slims and takes out a new one. What about Angora llamas and Santa hats trimmed with white fake fur? We've done that too. Santa pooping down a chimney. Also done. It pains the King that their best-selling designs are unbelievably tacky and also the backbone of ugly Christmas sweater parties. He'd gone to one such party at his friend John's house in Jersey, and it sickened him to see their sweaters lumped together on doughy bodies with sugar cookie crumbs clinging to Rudolph's nose and blobs of ranch dressing sullying the sequin poinsettias. Now when he's invited to such parties, or any party during the holidays, he declines. He spends the month of December in a deck chair on a Royal Caribbean cruise, binge-watching Netflix on his laptop. How about 3D vinyl snow globes? The Queen spends her holidays, and the rest of the year for that matter, flitting about the earth, giving one-night stands of inspo to anyone that needs her services. The King is the only one she returns to year after year. He opens the binder, flips through it, and stabs a page. We did 3D snow globes with penguins for Macy's in 2010. Well, why not put something different in the globe? Maybe a dinosaur manger scene? We need something new, says the King. Something big, something bold. Come on. The Queen scratches her teased blonde head and a dusting of glitter falls over the table. Have you ever done meth? She asks. No, but I've watched Breaking Bad. He brushes the glitter off the sketch pad, notices some on his glasses, takes them off, and cleans them on the hem of his black turtleneck. And I am not getting any meth, he says. Do I look like a tweaker, says the Queen. I'm thinking about the sweaters. She holds up her palms in presentation. Solid background, a glass pipe in the center, encircled by Merry Christmas in red letters. Like a wreath. Are you crazy? Come on, it's funny, and it'd sell, especially at Walmart. It gets stolen at Walmart. Still counts as a sale for us. The King throws his pencil in the center of the table. It flips, bounces off the eraser, and tings against the glass of the Ray Dunn candle. We've been at this for 10 weeks, and the only new idea you can come up with is a meth pipe? He gets up from the work table, goes over to the window, and wipes the spray snow off the glass. Outside is a whole world where Christmas is in deep hibernation. The Queen stands as well, hitting her wig on the overhead light, causing an explosion of glitter. I am doing the best I can. The words march out of her mouth in all caps. Maybe you need to get a muse. Maybe, says the Queen, yanking off her wig, exposing a shiny bald head. Or maybe we've just fucking exhausted the finite amount of crap you can put on a goddamn Christmas sweater. Maybe you're right. She slam dunks the wig on the table. It lands on top of the Ray Dunn 3-wick soy, and due to the amount of hairspray on it, immediately bursts into flames. They both feel themselves float up to the ceiling and look down on themselves in the same way you're looking at them. They are shocked but not surprised at the scene. The fire quickly spreads to the blank pages of the sketchbook, then to the 3-ring binder of past designs. It hisses and crackles and begins to consume the scarred wooden work table. Black smoke plumes. Neither one of them does anything to put out the fire.